Good morning, students. Let us begin lesson explanation. The last leaf. In the poorer parts of New York, there was a colony where many struggling artists lived. Struggling means striving to achieve something in the face of difficulty. So, children, there were many artists who were striving hard to achieve or to establish themselves uh, as an artist. Among them were Sue and Chauncey. They had come to New York from different parts of the United States. When they met, they found that they shared the same interest and they became friends. It means, although they had come from different parts of United States, when they met for the first time, they learned about each other, that both follow similar interest or both carry similar interest. So they became friends. They shared a flat and set up a joint studio trying to earn a living through art. So they took a flat on rent, maybe, and they shared that same flat. They lived in the same flat and set up a joint studio. Now, set up is a phrase, it means establish a business or an organization or institution. So, here they have set up a joint studio to establish themselves as artists. Trying to earn a living. Again, trying to earn a living is another phrase which means to earn money for basic necessities such as food, clothing, shelter, etc. So they shared a flat. They had come from different parts of US to New York. Then they shared the same flat and they set up a joint studio to earn a living. Okay. Johnsy was small, thin, and not very strong. After spending a few months in New York, she became ill with pneumonia. In those days, it was not easy to cure pneumonia patients, though Sue looked after her well. Johnsy uh, showed no signs of improvement. So, children, after coming there, Johnsy uh, became ill with pneumonia. Children, those days there was an epidemic of pneumonia and she caught up with that illness, and in those days it was medicines were not available for curing pneumonia patients as it is. Rather, it was difficult to cure pneumonia. So those who looked after her well. Johnsy showed no signs of improvement, means she was not recovering as according to the expectations. Let us move on to the next slide. One day, the doctor told Sue that Johnsy had one chance in 10, and that chance is for her to want to live. So one day when doctor visited to see how Johnsy was doing, he told Sue that there is only one chance in 10. It means there is very little chance for Johnsy to recover, because, and that one chance is only her will to want to live. He said, "Your little lady has made up her mind that she is not going to get well." Now, made up her mind is another phrase. It means to make a decision about something. So, this doctor says that your lady, means Johnsy, has made up her mind that she is not going to get well. So, children, uh, as I told you earlier in the warming up, that 50% medicines work and 50% it may be the person's will, the patient's will to recover. So here doctor realized that Johnsy is not having a will to recover. She is not supporting that way, and that's why there is only one chance in 10, he says. Okay, he told Sue that medicines alone did not help if the patient did not wish to live. So, patient also has to support with a positive approach, with a strong will to recover. Only then medicines can work on that body. Okay. That day, John C. lay in bed without making any sound or movement. First, Sue thought that she had fallen asleep, but then she noticed that Johnsy was looking out of the window and was counting something again and again in a very low voice, almost a whisper. Whisper means to speak very softly, maybe for the sake of secrecy. So, as if she was hiding something, and she was what Sue noticed that Johnsy was looking out of the window, and she was very slowly, in a whisper, she was counting something. Okay, so let us move on to the next slide, children. Sue too looked out of the window, but there was nothing to see. Only an old ivy vine, gnarled and decayed at the roots, climbed halfway up the brick wall. So, when Sue noticed that Johnsy was looking outside the window and she was counting something in a whisper, so out of curiosity, Sue also looked out of the window. But what she noticed that there was nothing else otherwise, but there was only an old ivy vine. Ivy vine is a strong creeper with green leaves and yellow berries. So this was a old ivy vine which was gnarled. Gnarled means twisted, and decayed at the roots means decomposed at the roots, and it had climbed halfway up the brick wall. So uh, there was a wall outside, and this ivy vine had climbed half of it, half the height. Okay. The cold breath of autumn had taken away most of the leaves. Only the skeleton branches were left clinging to the bricks. So the cold winds had of autumn season had taken away most of the leaves. Means most of the leaves of that ivy vine had shed, and there were very few left. What you call? Only the skeleton branches were left. Skeleton branches means only the bare branches which did not bear any leaves, bore any leaves, that those were left clinging to the bricks. Clinging means or the skeleton branches were holding tightly the bricks. Okay. What is it, dear? Asked Sue. 6, said Johnsy. They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, they were almost 100. So, as Sue had noticed that she was counting slowly something, after looking out of the window, Sue asked Johnsy, when she counted 6, she asked that, "What is it, dear? What are you looking at?" So Johnsy said 6, and that was the number of leaves she was counting. They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100. Means 3 days ago, there were more than 100 leaves on this ivy vine, and now there are only 6 left. Okay, let us see what happens in the next slide. Okay. It made my head ache to count them. It means I had lot of pain to count them when the number was more. But now it's easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 left now. 5? What, dear? Leaves on the ivy vine. When the last one falls, I must go too. I have known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you? So, children, she was counting, and at the moment she counted that the leaves were 6. One more dropped down, and there were only 5 now. So she tells Sue that only 5 are left now, and Sue doesn't understand what she's talking about. So she asks, "What? 5 what?" So John C. explains that uh, one more leaf has fallen down, and now there are only 5 on the ivy vine. And when the last leaf will drop down, I will also die. Didn't the doctor tell you? She asked Sue. Oh, I've never heard of such nonsense, said Sue. What have old ivy leaves to do with your getting well? And you used to love that wine so. Don't be silly. So Sue scolds a bit gently, saying that this is all nonsense, that there is no connection of your getting well and old ivy leaves falling down. So, and that was you loved that wine, and how can you connect it with your death? So don't be silly, she says. The doctor said that you had excellent chances of getting well. Take some broth now and let me get back to my work. So she says that doctor has told that there are excellent chances of you getting well. So now you take some broth. It is a hot soup, children. So she gives her broth and says that let me get back to my work. Children, will stop in this video and will continue the rest of the lesson in the next video. Okay.